Welcome to Bealtaine Cottage. It's about 12:30 here, and it's been a very productive morning. He's much better, and I was in a kind of a rant mode earlier on, but I couldn't find the camera. I honestly couldn't find the camera because I was in the middle of tidying up. And of course, as I was tidying up, I was thinking about this and that and the other. And it was all sort of accumulating in my head. So I just started speaking out loud to all the elements around me. You know, I could sort of feel my mother's presence, and I could feel my father's presence to a certain extent, and a few other people. And I just thought, oh, I've just got these things to say, I'm just going to say them. But anyway, a morning of hard work has calmed me down. But there's a few things I want to share with you, okay? The first thing is, it's incredibly good therapy to either talk to yourself or talk to those whose spirits you feel close by. And the view of the other world, from my perspective, is not just those loved ones whose mortal bodies are no longer with us, but it can also extend to the loved ones who are still with us mortally, but we are connected to on a psychic level. And like I've often said, there's no such thing as coincidence, and there's been too many occasions when I've been thinking, having this sort of mind talk with, say, my son or one of my daughters, and then they've rung me, and I've said, oh, I was just thinking about you. And they've said, well, I was thinking about you. So there is this psychic connection, for want of a better term, we'll call it a psychic connection between people, and between people who share a familiarity, should we say. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, kith and kin. But anyway, so I was having this dialogue with my parents. Lambasting them at times as well, you know, just in the way that we used to do when they were here in their mortal form. And the one thing that kept coming back, and the one thing that is still here with me, is this confusion that the majority of people I meet or I encounter on any level seem to have. And the confusion can be summed up in a fairly simple way, in that most people seem to compartmentalise their lives. And you know, yesterday I was talking out there about the way that Mother Earth has everything worked out. Everything's worked out. There's no accidental, you know, leaf drop. That doesn't happen accidentally. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is connected. There is nothing which is isolated and doesn't play a part in the whole scheme of things. But we as human beings seem to compartmentalise everything. Oh, this belongs there, that's that, those leaves shouldn't be there, There are too many moths. There's not enough moths. There's a whole disconnect. That word disconnection is there all the time. I think this is the root of most of our problems. And I think the sooner that we come to accept that there is a greater power than us, and I'm not going to be talking now in spiritual terms, because we all have our own individual spiritual paths. For me, the greater power than all of us put together is Mother Earth. Mother Earth seems to have everything sorted out. We are the ones who are flailing about in the dark, you know, trying to work things out. And instead of looking at her, looking skywards, you know, looking out to Mars, looking out to space, looking out to, you know, looking over the fence because the grass is greener on the other side, always looking for something other than accepting the life form that allows us to live. Within our arrogance, at the core of our arrogance is stupidity at the worst, immaturity at the best. And we're still talking in prophetic terms. We have the scientists, we have governments, we have NGOs all talking about what is going to happen. Well, we can say this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And you know, they're all working in isolation, because it would only take one mammoth earthquake that would knock out maybe half a continent in one form or another, you know, through tidal waves and, you know, tsunamis and destruction generally, to put humankind back into a place where they're not able to do any more damage, and where temperatures will, you know, stabilise, nature will stabilise. And yet, there's this arrogance, the arrogance of man that says, oh, but we know what's going to happen, and we can say that in 50 years' time it's going to be like this, and in 20 years' time it's going to be like that. And what is it about prophecies and prophets and, you know, this powerfully patriarchal voice telling us all that this is going to happen and that's going to happen. If you don't do this, this will happen. If you do that, that will happen. And yet, you look at Mother Earth. I mean, you know, you really look at her. I've spent 15 years now in close companionship with her. I can't tell you what's going to happen next week, or next year, or you know, in the next decade or the next millennium. I can only tell you what has happened through being conscious of her and working with her and acknowledging her. And people say to me, oh, but, you know, we'd like to see your face, Colette. We'd like you to be on the videos. Well, I'm sorry. This isn't about me. This isn't about me in some stupid ego trip. There's enough people out there on YouTube with their faces all over the screen. Boring. Very boring from my perspective. I don't want to see people's faces. I want to see life. I want to see something beyond the ego, something beyond the stupidity and something beyond the arrogance. And that's why I point my camera usually out here. Oh, and just in case you want to see me, there we go. There's me. Hello. Very interesting. I don't think so. Right, come on, Jack. You can pop yourself out there. This is what it's all about out here. Our egos can't compare to this. And you know, yeah, it's nice to watch videos where people are tripping about and it's all edited and there's soft focus lighting and everything else, and you know, ego. But there's only so much of that that can be of any entertainment or interest. I mean, look at these two little cotoneasters that I think I grew them either from seed or cuttings, maybe one from a seed and one from cutting. But look at the amount of berries on them. Now, you know what I hear early in the morning? The blackbird coming right up to the door and taking these berries and making a beautiful early morning racket. And the same with the Lucestia formosa there. And this morning I've been out in my general tidy up and I've refilled a few bird feeders. And I've watched the little mice from the kitchen window. I've watched the little mice come out from the shrubs here underneath where this feeder is. You see, it's got loads of seeds, and they were having their breakfast and their food. I'm watching the birds. And the small birds coming right up near the kitchen window because there's so many little insects in the clematis. That's the joy of living. That's the joy. That's the joy that I want, that I desperately want to share with everyone. And that's why I don't have any advertisements on my channel. This isn't about making money. I'm not interested in it. If someone sends me a gift, you know, people support me on Patreon, that is a bonus for me. It's not expected. And I have said, I think several times over the years, if it was just how it was at the beginning, me making videos, writing blogs on the website, taking photographs of her, and I was still living on benefits, that would be okay. Wouldn't be as comfortable, but it would be okay. Because my soul is fed with all of this. My connection with Mother Earth is so beautifully complete. Beautifully complete. Look, more and more of the shaggy ink caps. I keep picking them. I couldn't tell you how many meals I've had out of all of these. Look at this, and they're all over there. Look at the massive one. Over, just take you over in case you can't see. Look, they're everywhere. You know, Mother Earth's bounty. So much. There's been so much soft fruit collected here during the summer. Look, There's more of them. Here on the path, look at this. More over there. There's been soft fruit and apples and hazelnuts. And what I've planted, what I've sown. But none of that compares to the joy that I feel in my heart when I look out at these trees, when I look out at what's growing here, it feeds the soul, which is much deeper than the stomach. You see that nest up there now? And down there, I don't know if you can see that nest. Where are we? Just there, I think. So the kettle is boiling. I'm going to make myself a pot of tea. He hasn't been for a walk yet today, so he's given me that sort of look, as to say, now come on Mum, you haven't forgotten. No, I haven't forgotten, darling. I haven't forgotten. And you will go for your walk. You will go to the ball, darling. And you know, just underneath, look, do you see where I'm just petting him now? Underneath his head, just his throat. That was very warm over the past few days. You could almost feel the warmth of the infection. I think the infection now is beginning to clear. Yes. So, he says we'll go back in. You want a treat, don't you? That's what you're telling me. Oh, I know. Let's give you a treat. Don't be getting too excited now. Let me just... There you go, my love. There we go. Now, and I should go and make my tea. I think I'll just close this door here so there's no draft on himself. And don't worry about not having a rant this morning, okay? Because it won't take me long to build up to another one, because I'm just in that frame of mind. There's a lot of thinking going on here. There's a lot of reflection. There's a lot of trying to make sense out of nonsense. Blessings to you all.